Shalom, good morning.
Shalom, Boker Tov.
Welcome back to the study. We're on the second part of Parashat Korach. We're looking in Bamidbar, that's Numbers, chapter 17. So there's a little difference with the numbers in the verses. So if you have Chumash or something like that, then it'll be chapter 17, starting on verse 16. And if you have other scripture, then we'll be starting on chapter 17, verse 1. And we just read about Korach's rebellion and about how he wants a position of authority more than what he already had. And so he pretends that he is really a champion for the people, pretends that he wants more equality, supposedly, things like that. And he kind of twists and distorts what is true and makes these false accusations against Moshe, Aaron. And basically, he convinces 200 other people to join him in this rebellion, and they bring incense that they weren't supposed to bring, and they all die, right? And then the pans are used as a covering on the altar to remind people not to rebel against Yahweh. So now we're looking in chapter 17, and we're going to have one more test to prove that the people that Yahweh appointed are the ones that are supposed to be in position. So the people are still kind of upset about Korah and his group dying, right? The earth opened up and swallowed them. So they're still kind of upset about this. So there's one more test here in chapter 17, and they're going to bring a rod, right? A staff. And we'll talk about a little more about what that means at the end after we read. So we can pray the blessing to begin. And we'll read Numbers chapter 17, and Bamidbar chapter 17.
Baruch Yahweh Hambora. Baruch Yahweh Hambora Leolam Baed. Baruch Atah Yahweh Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Asher Bahar Banu Mikol Hamim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Yahweh Noten HaTorah. Amen.
Okay, so let's share the screen. And while I'm sharing this, I should probably explain that when I said there are different verses, numbers in the verses, right? Different numbering. That does not mean that your scriptures are missing verses. It's just that in some of them, chapter 16 was really long, and in other ones they divide that between chapter 17 and chapter 16. Okay, so here we go. Bamidbar, or Numbers chapter 17, verse 1.
And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and take from them a rod from each father's house, all their leaders according to their fathers' houses, 12 rods. Write each one's name on his rod, and write Aaron's name on the rod of Levi, or Levi, for there is one rod for the head of each father's house. You shall then place them in the tent of meeting before the witness, where I meet with you. And it shall be that the rod of the man whom I choose buds, and I shall rid myself of the grumblings of the children of Israel, which they grumble against you. And Moshe spoke to the children of Israel, and all their leaders gave him a rod each for for each leader according to their fathers' houses, 12 rods. And the rod of Aaron was among their rods. So Moshe placed the rods before Yahweh in the tent of the witness. And it came to be on the next day that Moshe went into the tent of the witness and saw that the rod of Aaron of the house of Levi had budded and brought 4 buds and blossomed and bore ripe almonds. And Moshe brought out all the rods from before Yahweh to all the children of Israel, and they looked, and each man took his rod. And Yahweh said to Moshe, bring Aaron's rod back before the witness to be kept as a sign against the rebels, so that you put an end to their grumblings against me, lest they die. And Moshe did as Yahweh had commanded him, so he did. And the children of Israel spoke to Moshe, saying, see, we shall die, we shall perish, we shall all perish. Anyone who comes near the dwelling place of Yahweh dies. Shall we be consumed to die?
Let's hear chapter 17 in the Hebrew.
וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל, וקח מאיתם מטה לבית אב, מאת כל נשיאיהם לבית אבותם, 12 מטות, איש את שמו תכתוב על מטהו, ואת שם אהרון תכתוב על מטה לוי, כי מטה אחד לראש בית אבותם. והנחתם באוהל מועד לפני העדות אשר יבעד לכם שמה. והיה האיש אשר אבחר בו, מטהו יפרח, והשיקותי מעלי את תלונות בני ישראל, אשר הם מלינים עליכם. וידבר משה אל בני ישראל, ויתנו אליו כל נשיאיהם מטה לנשיא אחד, מטה לנשיא אחד לבית אבותם, 12 מטות, ומטה אהרון בתוך מטותם. וינח משה את המטות לפני אדוני באוהל העדות. ויהי ממחרת, ויבוא משה אל אוהל העדות, והנה פרח מטה אהרון לבית לוי, ויוצא פרח, ויצא פיו, ויגמול שקדים. ויוצא משה את כל המטות מלפני אדוני אל כל בני ישראל, ויראו ויקחו איש מטהו. ויאמר אדוני אל משה, השב את מטה אהרון לפני העדות, למשמרת לאות לבני מרי, ותאכל תלונותם מעלי, ולא ימותו. ויעש משה כאשר ציווה אדוני אותו, כן עשה. ויאמרו בני ישראל אל משה לאמור, הן גבנו, אבדנו, כולנו אבדנו. כל הקרב אל משכן אדוני ימות. האם תמנו לגבוע?
Okay. And that's the end of chapter 17. And we'll finish the parasha on Friday. But let's look at what we read, right? So they bring the word here translated as rod. And in the Hebrew, I believe that's mate or matot. Let me see. Okay. All right. So they have it as mate. a branch, a rod, but you see one of the meanings here is also a scepter, right? So signifying authority, a scepter, like
ruling.
Exactly, ruling. So that here in this case, there's another word for like a staff, but in this case they use mate, which also has the additional meaning of scepter, and in other parts of the scriptures is translated as a scepter, right? So they apparently, like in ancient times, each one would have their own distinct rod, their own distinct staff or their scepter. So it was clearly identifiable who it belonged to, right? And in this case, they even had their names on it, right? And then we see that Aharon's rod, it brings forth three things, right? It buds, it brings almonds. Let me see, I'm looking, let me find verse 8. It had budded, brought forth buds, it blossomed and bore ripe almonds. I just think it's interesting that something that's supposed to be dead in a way brings forth life. So who does
like
that remind
Yeshua.
us of? Yeah, exactly.
Just like Yeshua.
Just like Yeshua. Also, one of the studies that I heard, I believe it's by Daniel McGurk, I believe, he was mentioning how in ancient times, right, the king, he wasn't just king, he was also supposed to be like a shepherd. And this was in many cultures across the ancient East, right? The king was supposed to be also bring justice, bring righteousness, and in a way provide for his people and shepherd them in a way. So not only they have like this lofty, title of like king, but they were also supposed to be a shepherd, a ruler, right? And so they had a shepherd staff, right? And so their scepter was like a shepherd staff as well. Kind of they had that same imagery.
Yeah. And also figuratively, it's a support of life. In this case, will be like bread.
Right, you can see that at the end. So this is very significant, and you can see how that connects with Yeshua too. I think that is interesting. Anything else you wanted to?
Well, how the fear fell on them, and they thought we are all gonna be perishing here on this account. So, but Abba was right. I'm gonna make all these people that are grumbling and complaining stop with this, because from death you bring life. That is only the sign of Yahweh.
Yeah, so I guess they had seen so many things happening with the ground following Korah and all the 200 people with him. And then there was a plague immediately after that against the people who were also guilty of that rebellion. And then they see that Aharon's staff is obviously the chosen tribe, right? And so they say we're all gonna die, right? They feel that they're worried, they're afraid.
That tells me that Abba knows exactly who he puts in place, for authority, and he is the one who is going to punish those leaders that are not acting according to the plan.
Yeah.
So
I want to say something very quickly. Okay. Now I wanted to check if the Haftorah portion had a similar issue with the staff, right, with the scepter, but I think it's about the crowning of King David. Maybe we'll look at that another time. Yeah. Anything else?
That's all.
Okay. So we can say the blessing to close, and we'll continue on Friday. This is the last part.
Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet bechayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Yahweh noten haTorah. Amen. Shalom, everyone.
Shalom. Thank you,
Be the
guys.
salt of this world. Shalom. Shalom Aleichem.